Most people don't choose marriage or children. They fall into it. And that should make you uncomfortable. Because one of the biggest decisions of your life is often made without real thinking, without real awareness, and sometimes without real desire. You don't wake up one day and suddenly decide, this is the exact life I want. You just reach a certain age, feel a certain pressure, see everyone around you moving forward, and you follow. And here's the uncomfortable truth. Smart people don't rush into marriage and kids, not because they're afraid, but because they see something others don't. They see the cost. Not just the financial cost, not just the time, but the psychological weight of a decision that will define the rest of your life. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Most people think this is about commitment or love. It's not. It's about identity. From a very young age, your mind is trained with a script. Study, get a job, get married, have kids, settle down. And because this script is repeated everywhere, family, movies, society, it doesn't feel like a script anymore. It feels like truth. But here's the psychological trap. When something is normalized long enough, you stop questioning it. You don't ask, is this right for me? You ask, when should I do it? That's the difference. And intelligent people, the ones who actually pause and observe, they feel something strange when they reach that stage. They feel resistance. Not fear, not immaturity, but a quiet voice asking, is this really my choice or just the default path? This is where most people shut their mind off, because thinking deeply about life decisions is uncomfortable. It creates uncertainty, it delays gratification, it separates you from the crowd. But if you don't ask that question now, life will answer it for you later. And that answer won't be gentle. Here's what most people don't notice. Marriage and children don't just add things to your life, they remove options. Before that, your life is flexible. You can change careers, move cities, take risks, fail, start again. After that, every decision is filtered through responsibility. Not just your dreams, but survival, stability, and expectations. And slowly, without realizing it, your life shifts. Not dramatically, not suddenly, but quietly. You start choosing what's safe instead of what's meaningful. You start avoiding risk instead of chasing growth. You start living a life that makes sense, but doesn't feel alive. And the dangerous part is, from the outside, everything looks perfect. Good job, family, stability. But inside, there's a subtle tension, a question that never fully goes away. Did I choose this, or did I just arrive here? Smart people sense this possibility early. That's why they hesitate. Not because they don't value love, not because they reject family, but because they understand something most people ignore. Every yes in life is also a no to something else. And marriage and children are not small yeses. They are total commitments. You're not just choosing a partner, you're choosing a lifestyle, a structure, a set of limitations, and a future you can't easily undo. And when you truly understand that, rushing becomes impossible. But society doesn't like hesitation. It labels it. You're overthinking, you're scared, you'll regret it later. So people give in, not because they're ready, but because they're tired of resisting. And this is where the real problem begins. Because a decision made under pressure always carries hidden resentment. It might not show immediately. In the beginning, everything feels exciting. newness, validation, social approval. But over time, reality settles in. Routine replaces excitement, responsibility replaces freedom, expectation replaces curiosity. And if that decision wasn't deeply yours, something inside you starts to disconnect. Not loudly, but slowly. You become functional, but not fulfilled. Present, but not engaged. Responsible, but not alive. And this is the silent consequence most people never talk about. Because once you're in it, you can't easily admit it. So people adapt. They convince themselves this is what life is supposed to feel like. They distract themselves with work, entertainment, responsibilities. But that original question never fully disappears. It just gets buried. Until one day, it comes back stronger. Sometimes in your 30s, sometimes in your 40s, sometimes when it's too late to change anything without breaking everything. And that's the real cost of rushing. Not failure, but living a life you never fully examined. Now here's the shift. Smart people don't avoid marriage and children. They delay them. They question them. They rebuild the idea from scratch. Instead of asking, when should I do this? They ask, why should I do this at all? And that question changes everything. Because now it's no longer about following a timeline, it's about alignment. Do you actually want this life, or do you just want the validation that comes with it? Do you want children, or do you want the feeling of not being left behind? Do you want marriage, or do you want certainty in an uncertain world? These are uncomfortable questions, but they are necessary. Because once you answer them honestly, your path becomes clear. And sometimes that clarity leads you towards marriage and children, but this time it's different. It's not rushed, it's not forced, it's not unconscious. It's chosen. And there's a massive difference between a life you fall into and a life you consciously build. One feels like duty, the other feels like direction. And this is the final realization most people miss. Intelligence is not about rejecting marriage or children. It's about refusing to make irreversible decisions unconsciously. It's about understanding that society gives you a script, but it's still your responsibility to decide whether to follow it. Because in the end, no one lives your life for you. Not your parents, not your friends, not society. And the scariest part is this. You can do everything right and still feel something is wrong, unless you stop, think, and choose deliberately. So don't rush, not because time is short, but because this decision defines everything that comes after. And once you see that clearly, you'll realize that waiting is not weakness, it's awareness.